This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven Sun. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching or participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Wednesday night, September the 8th, one day before the start of the NFL season. So we're here with our annual NFL preview show. Joining me always in the upper left-hand portion of the screen, deep in his underground bunker, waiting to find out if he got kicked out of Penn State for going to a mask rally last week. The non-genetically proven Sun. How's it hanging? I can't hear you. You have yourself muted.
It's hanging.
There you go. Good to know.
Like a tree.
Good to know that it's hanging. Hanging is good, I guess.
I guess so. Oh, that's loud. That might be me.
All right, so we got some teams to discuss tonight, and then we'll get into week 2 of the Phatts Phantastic Phive a day early, so some of the lines that we like to look at aren't quite up yet. Like there was a halftime line I really wanted to take, but it wasn't posted on our official site that we use, Barstool Sports. So, couldn't use it.
What's the Monday night game? Because that's probably what it was.
This Monday night game is Baltimore and Las Vegas.
Okay, it definitely wasn't that game.
No, I'm talking about a college game.
Oh, college game.
College game. And we'll talk about it when we get to the Phatts Phantastic Phive. About what I would have liked to have picked, because I struggled to find a 5th pick. I'll be honest.
You want me to be honest? I made my picks in about 2 minutes.
Yes, I know. Well, you can't do any worse than you did last week. Well, you can.
I could.
All right. So, what would you like to start off with? What division?
Let's start in the NFC East. Let's get that division out of the way.
NFC East. And right away, I know we have a discrepancy on who we think is going to win the division. Now, I put together this really neat graphic. And yeah, he only did win totals for the division winner, where I put together everything. So
you have a little more free time than I do.
I do. I spent 3 hours last night going through all 272 games.
Congratulations.
I was up
for about 45 minutes.
I was up really, really late last night going through this. So when I put up the graphic, I'm going to have the win totals for all the teams, and there'll just be one number under his for the team that he thinks is going to finish first.
Yes.
Now, don't forget, this year there's 17 games. 17. So let's look at the NFC East. You have Dallas winning the division at 10 wins. I have Washington winning the division at 10 wins.
I picked Dallas for the main reason of they have a better quarterback. I think it comes down to whoever gets the 10 wins first.
You don't like Fitzmagic from Harvard?
No, I don't like Fitzmagic. He's not a very good quarterback.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, it's true. Dallas has the better quarterback. It's definitely true. Washington has the superior defense.
This is true.
I believe they've held their last... Now, granted, we're going back to last season. In the regular season, they held like their last 7 opponents to under 24 points or 20 points or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So with Dak in Dallas, you don't know how he's going to come back off of the injury yet. You know, remember he had that, you know, his ankle, I believe it was shattered last year. That was a bad injury. I remember seeing it. Wasn't, you know, it was gruesome. It was gruesome. Do you agree with Philly coming in last?
Yeah, you even gave them more wins than I thought they would get. I put them around 3.
Got
I put a guess in.
Got you.
But the reason Washington's not going to get first is obviously quarterback. And that was obviously the main reason.
Mm-hmm.
That main reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fitzmagic is very inconsistent.
Got you. Got you.
And Philly is going to get last. They're trash.
They are trash.
I mean, the Giants aren't a whole lot better because we don't really know how Daniel Jones is going to do.
Right. I will say I may have slighted the Giants a win or two here. I mean, they played really well to end the season. Late in the season, they were in first because they went on that like 5-game winning streak or something like that.
Something like that.
I mean, and they got some playmakers in the offseason. So I think 5 might be a little light on the win total for them. Let me look at their schedule. I actually have all their schedules here.
Did they get a line? That's all that really matters.
True. So the Giants open with Denver at home. That's certainly a winnable game.
Right.
And they're at Washington. Home against Atlanta. That's a winnable game. Home at New Orleans. That's a winnable game. At Dallas. That's a winnable game. Home against the Rams. You know, you don't know about West Coast teams coming east having to play an early game. Home against Carolina, certainly winnable. At Kansas City, not likely. Home against Vegas, winnable. At Tampa, not likely.
No.
Home against the Eagles, at Miami, at the Chargers, that's going to be a tough 2-game stretch. You have to fly down to Florida, then you're flying out to the left coast. So that's, I don't like them to win the Chargers game at all. Miami, home against Dallas, at Philly, at Chicago, and then they finish the season home against Washington. Yes. So, you know, they might. I believe I actually had them winning a bunch of games early and then tailing off at the end of the season. Is what I did.
Okay.
But you know, I might be shorting them with 5. The official lines at Barstool for wins. They agree with you that Dallas is the favorite. They have them at 9.5 wins.
Okay, so I put them in a right spot.
Washington at 8, the Giants at 7, Philly at 6.5. So if I were a betting man, hint, I would be taking Washington over 8 and definitely Philly under 6.5. In fact, out of the 3 team total plays that I like, Philly is one of the 3. I love them under 6.5.
Now watch, they'll beat the Chiefs at home.
Hey, you never know. They've been known to play really good teams tough at home.
They're gonna snap a win or two that you won't expect.
Well, as long as they snap a loss or two of games that they should win, too.
The Lions.
Well, let's look at Philly's schedule. Open at Atlanta, home against San Francisco, at Dallas, home against Kansas City, at Carolina, home against Tampa. So they'll win at, or they'll lose at Carolina, and then they'll beat Tom Brady at home. At Vegas, at Detroit, home against the Chargers, at Denver, home against New Orleans, at the Giants, at the Jets, home against Washington, home against the Giants, at Washington, home against Dallas. So, all right, that's the NFC East. You have Dallas, I have Washington, both winning the division at 10 wins.
Yeah.
Let's move to the NFC North.
Hey, one of the easier divisions in the NFC.
Yes. We both have Green Bay.
You
winning the division.
have... I know we have a discrepancy here, because I do have the order I think they're going to finish.
Okay.
You have the Vikings in second with 11 wins.
I do.
I have Green Bay. If I was to go through them all, I looked through them and kind of gave like a rough estimate of wins. I gave the Packers the only team with a positive record.
Okay.
So, there's our discrepancy there. But I put the Bears in second.
Okay.
And the Vikings in third.
Well, you know why I don't like the Bears.
I do?
Quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Who will?
You don't like their...
He's not their starting quarterback in week 1, but he'll eventually be their quarterback. I don't like any starting quarterback that went to Ohio State until there's one that proves himself in the NFL.
Yeah.
Haven't had many lately. In fact, you've had none lately. I don't think Haskins has proven himself in the NFL.
He got cut, so I mean...
Yeah. So, I have the Bears at 6.
Bears.
I will say I might have Green Bay a little high at 13. Reading a little more about this, again, I did this last night. Reading a little bit more about them today, they're probably going to have their worst offensive line that they've had in the last 8 or 9 years. So, that could equate to a couple less wins. I might have Minnie a little over. Let's see. Minnesota starts out at Cincinnati, at Arizona. They'll probably split those games. Home against Seattle. You don't know how Seattle... lately Seattle's been one of those good teams at home, bad on the road, kind of. Home against Cleveland, home against Detroit. At Carolina, home against Dallas, at Baltimore, at the Chargers. Home against Green Bay, at San Fran, at Detroit. Home against Pitt, at Chicago. Home against the Rams, at Green Bay, home against Chicago. So yeah, I mean, I could possibly see where I might be a win or two over on them as well.
I'd give them around 8.
So yeah, you have them at a losing record then. The Pros have Green Bay at 10.5 wins, Minnesota at 9 wins, Chicago at 7.5 wins, and Detroit at 5 wins.
Ooh, take that under on Detroit.
Yeah, that's the only one that I would play here. Not one of my stronger plays though. I wouldn't touch the rest. Like I said, I might have Green Bay with a couple too many wins, and I may have Minnesota with the win too many. Like I could see Green Bay with 11 wins and Minnesota with 9 or 10 wins as well. All right. The NFC South. Pretty easy to tell who's going to win this division.
Wow, you're really underdoing New Orleans there. This is yet another division where I have Tampa as the only positive record, though.
Well, me too.
But I have New Orleans finishing second, the Panthers in third, and the Falcons in the last.
Wow, you have Atlanta finishing last, huh?
I have the New Orleans. I did have them going 8-9. I did have to do some of these records for the playoffs reasons. So I had New Orleans 8-9. The other two are just watching.
Got you. This was the one change that I made today. I actually originally had New Orleans at 7 wins, Atlanta at 6 wins. And then I went back and looked, and I had New Orleans beating Atlanta twice. So I changed it and have them splitting, which gives Atlanta now 7 wins and New Orleans with 6. I have never been a fan of Jameis Winston. And he's the starting quarterback now at New Orleans. I would have went with the other guy, whatever his name is. His name escapes me. I would have went with the other guy. I mean, Jameis Winston is probably the better quarterback, but he just throws a lot of interceptions. Carolina at 5 wins. Is Sam Darnold gonna play good now that he's not with the Jets anymore? I mean, he does finally have some playmakers. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is the leader in the clubhouse to be the NFC Offensive Player of the Year. He's got the lowest odds. So he's finally got some playmakers out there, but until I see Sam Darnold do something.
He was on the worst organization in the country.
Yeah, thanks.
So I think it's pretty hard to judge him so far.
But obviously we both like Tampa. So we're going to go from the easiest division to the hardest division.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, the NFC West is the hardest division to predict. Wait till you see how I have it.
I could have gave you all the numbers on this one because I did have to figure out everyone's record.
Okay, well, as soon as I flip it, you could start and we'll film in. Wait till you see how I have this. I have a 3-way tie.
I don't have that.
All right. So how many wins do you got for the Rams?
11.
11. How many wins do you got for Seattle?
10.
10. And how many wins do you got for Arizona?
10.
You have all of them having a winning record.
Yep.
That's going to be tough. But
you could win big right now if you take Dallas to win it all. It's not too late. Dallas has no chance to win it all. They ain't even coming close to beating anyone in this division, yet alone the Bucks. So it doesn't matter. Or the Packers. So good luck, Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's only one of 2 people that would have made that comment, and they're both named Josh. All right, so we both have the Rams with 11 wins. You have Seattle with 10. I have them with 11. You have San Fran winning the division with 12 wins. I have them with 11. And you have Arizona with 10 wins. I have them at 8 wins.
And I have Arizona being in last and the Seahawks being in third.
That would probably be some kind of record that the team in last has double-digit wins.
Be impressive.
That would be impressive. Let's see what the public has. They have both San Fran and the Rams at 10.5 wins, Seattle at 9.5, and Arizona at 8. Now, by the way, I had the Rams winning the tiebreakers. That's why I put them up top. Okay? Okay. All right. So, how many teams in this division do you have making the playoffs? Do you have all 4?
No, 3.
So you have Seattle winning in a tiebreaker against Arizona.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, is it anybody other than Tampa Bay making it to the Super Bowl?
It could be. We'll wait on that.
Okay. All right. Let's move over then to the AFC East. I do not have the Jets winning the division.
I have the Jets finishing in last.
So do I. You have Buffalo at 13 wins. I have them at 12. I have Miami at second with 11, New England in third at 10, and the Jets at 5.
Ooh. I think you're giving Miami a little too much credit. I still have Miami in second, but I have them at 9 and 8.
Okay.
So I think you're giving them a little too much credit.
What do you have New England at?
8 and 9.
Oh. Don't like the rookie quarterback, huh?
No.
Got ya.
He's not coming from a school that's known for quarterbacks, is he?
Well, so in other words, you don't think he's going to have like wide open receivers as he did all throughout his college career?
It's not against Buffalo for sure. And probably not against Miami either. He might against the Jets.
So, Mr. Oddsmaker has Buffalo at 11 wins, both Miami and New England at 9 wins, and the Jets at 6.5. I like the under 6.5 with the Jets. That's one of my favorite plays as well.
I think it'll be they'll either get. I could see them getting to 6. I don't know about the 7. It's a lot of wins for the Jets.
Yes, I mean
I haven't seen that many wins. They usually get that many wins in about 2 years.
I mean they open at Carolina, home against New England, at Denver, home against Tennessee, at Atlanta, home or at New England, home against Cincinnati, which by the way I believe I have that as their first win. At Indy, home against Buffalo, home against Miami, at Houston, I have that as their second win. Home against Philly, home against New Orleans, at Miami, home against Jacksonville, home against Tampa Bay. I do not have them beating Tampa Bay. And at Buffalo, I actually have them beating Buffalo the last game of the season because I have Buffalo wrapping up the division already and resting their starters.
I think you're going to be accurate because the Jets are starting another rookie quarterback.
And they have a rookie head coach.
Yeah. And they have just a terrible organization. I'm sorry, they just do.
They do.
If you're not getting good, when you get so many top 2 picks, there's something wrong.
Well, they fucked up getting the number 1 draft choice. All they had to do was keep losing.
No, they won.
And then they decided to win a couple games.
Yeah. They had Trevor Lawrence wrapped up.
Yes.
And then they wouldn't have picked him.
Yes.
They would have picked Zach Wilson still.
Probably. All right, let's go to the NFC or the AFC North, and we don't agree here.
We don't agree here.
We do not agree. We do not agree. You have Cleveland winning this division. I have Baltimore winning this division.
I know why you have Baltimore. I know why.
Tell me why.
Their away schedule is cake.
It is. Remember last year when we were going over this, we said, they don't travel like more than 750 miles.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, Mr. Schedule Maker didn't give them a very hard away schedule this time. I mean, their non-division away games are Vegas, Detroit, Denver, Miami, Chicago.
You're going to go into Miami and lose.
Well, I have them losing 4 times, so I believe I did pick them to lose that game, actually. I think I had them losing at home to Kansas City, at Miami, definitely at Cleveland. They are losing that game at Cleveland. They have to go home against Cleveland, at Pittsburgh, at Cleveland, back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So I have them losing at Cleveland, and then I may have them losing the very next week to Green Bay as well. That might be the 4 losses that I had for them.
This division is another close one for me.
All right.
I do have Baltimore at 12.
All right.
I also have Pittsburgh making the playoffs.
Oh, wow. All right.
And I think the Bengals, you have them at 3.
Yes.
I didn't put in a number for them, but some of the research I was doing, I was thinking they're going to push 500.
All right. See,
so I'll put them around 7 or 8 wins.
I don't think they have the easiest of schedules. I mean, so they have to play 3 teams, 6 games against teams that you automatically have a winning record.
Right.
So that pulls them down to 11 games. Their other 11 games are Minnesota, Chicago, Jacksonville, Green Bay.
Stop right there. They're going to beat Minnesota. They're going to beat the Bears, and they're going to beat Jacksonville. They're going to be 3-1 after 4 games.
They're not going into Chicago and beating the Bears.
They are going into Chicago and beating the Bears.
Okay.
You heard it right here first.
Okay. Why don't you just say they're going to beat Green Bay at home then too?
They're not going to beat Green Bay.
All right. So you have them. You have 3 wins right there. Then you have them. You have them winning at Detroit.
Probably.
4 wins at Baltimore.
No.
At the Jets.
Maybe. Let's say yeah.
So 5. Cleveland.
No.
At Vegas.
No.
Pittsburgh.
No.
Chargers.
No.
San Fran.
No.
At Denver in December.
No.
Baltimore.
No.
Kansas City.
No.
At Cleveland.
Depends.
When they're going to be battling Cleveland, they'll be battling for the division title. That you have them having 1 more win than Baltimore.
It depends.
Okay.
Does Cleveland have it? Does Cleveland already have 13 wins, and Baltimore's at 11?
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, they can win that game.
All right. So even if they did win that game, you have them at 6 wins.
Yeah.
So which still says play the under, because Mr. Linesmaker has the under at 6.5.
Okay.
There's 2 that I like in here. I love Baltimore over 10.5 wins. I don't see how that doesn't happen. Barring injuries, of course.
All right.
Now, I already know they have a big injury. Their running back got injured.
Lamar Jackson might as well be a running back.
Might as well. Cleveland is at 10.5. So, if you were a betting man, you would take the over in Cleveland, I would assume, because you have them at 13.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh at 8.5, and then Cincy at 6.5, and I'm taking the under in Cincy, too.
Nice.
All right. AFC South. I have Indy and Tennessee both at 10 wins. You have Tennessee winning at 10 wins.
And I have Indy at 8.
Okay.
Did you change the graphic? Because it didn't change on my screen.
Oh, sorry. The button didn't take when I hit it. So, I have Jacksonville at 4 wins, and I have Houston at 2. The interesting thing with Houston at 2 wins, I have them being 2-1 after 3 weeks. And then losing the rest of their games.
I also have them at 2 or 3.
All right.
They are going to be bad.
They are. And they announced today that Tyrod Taylor is their starter. Not even, what's his name?
Deshaun Watson?
Yes. Yes.
Who is Tyrod Taylor?
He was a journeyman. He was supposed to be the starter for the Chargers last year till he injured his chest in warm-ups in game 1 and then never played a game.
Nice.
Yeah. Once Bear came in, or however he likes to pronounce his name, and he played really good, which I might reward them on the next screen when we get there. So Mr. Linesmaker has Indy and Tennessee at 9.5 wins. Jacksonville at 6.5 wins. I will be playing the under there. That's the other one that I like. And Houston at 4.5 wins. I'm not going to touch that, just to be sure, because you never know. If they trade Deshaun Watson during the season, who knows what they're going to get back? If they get players back, I mean, too many things up in the air for me to... What?
Nobody wants Deshaun Watson.
Don't be surprised if you see him with a Dolphins uniform on by the end of the season.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Don't be surprised.
That's a bad choice for the Dolphins.
Better than Tungaloa, yeah. By the way, they didn't even name Tua a team captain. You normally name your quarterback as one of your team captains. So what does that tell you about what the play? And it's usually the players that vote on that stuff, not the coaches. Yeah.
This division is very meh.
Yes.
2 average teams, 2 pretty bad teams.
Yes. The thing with Indy, you don't know how many games Wentz is actually going to play because he's injury prone. Tennessee could easily win this division. I like their running back. I kept him as my one of my keepers in fantasy. So
he's probably one of the best running backs in the league.
He is. Well, he came from Alabama. What do you expect?
Because he's like, what, 6'5", 300?
He's a bull. He's a bull. So, yeah, Indy and Tennessee are at 9.5 wins, Jacksonville 6.5, Houston 4.5. So the only thing I'm playing here is Jacksonville under 6.5. Now we move to the West. And I do have Kansas City winning, but I also have the Chargers doing good with 11 wins.
I have the Chargers in the playoffs.
Yes, me too. If the Chargers could stay healthy, they could have a really good season.
Yeah.
Really, really good season. So, but you have Kansas City having the best record in the league at 15-2.
Right.
So you have them with home field advantage throughout the AFC. So all roads go through Arrowhead again.
I mean, the AFC, the way that I end up putting out the playoffs, which we'll see, they don't have a very hard. It's not hard.
Okay.
Not too hard.
Okay. Mr. Linesmaker has Kansas City at 12.5 wins, so I'm assuming you would play that over.
Yeah.
They have the Chargers at 9 wins. I will play that over.
I'm at 10.
They have Denver at 8.5 and Vegas at 7. So obviously I would not play either of those.
I have Denver finishing last in that division, so.
Got you.
So, yeah.
If you remember, Denver was like my sleeper team last year, and then they all got injured.
Yeah.
So playoffs, who do you got?
In the NFC or
Sure.
the AFC?
Let's do the NFC.
So the Bucks are 1, 49ers are 2, Packers are 3, Cowboys are 4, Rams are 5, Seahawks are 6, Cardinals are 7.
Mm-hmm.
I have chalk here, got some chalk. So the Rams will beat the Cowboys, Packers will beat the Seahawks, 49ers will beat the Cardinals. So it's the 49ers versus the Pack. 49ers will win because they have home field advantage. And the Bucks versus the Rams. The Bucks, unfortunately, are going to have a very easy road, at least to the NFC title game. 49ers versus Bucks. I gave it to the Bucks to make the Super Bowl again. Yes, I know, how boring. The 49ers versus Bucks in the title game. Just because Bucks will have home field advantage.
Right. All right. So I have Tampa as the number 1 seed, Green Bay as the number 2 seed, the Rams as the number 3 seed, Washington as the number 4 seed. Then I had Seattle as the 5 seed. And then I had San Fran as the 6 seed. And Minnesota as the 7 seed. So I would have Green Bay beating Minnesota, the Rams beating San Fran, and Washington beating Seattle.
Ooh.
I think I think Washington, their defense is gonna shine.
Okay.
I have Tampa beating Washington, the Rams going into snowy Green Bay, and pulling out the win.
Not gonna happen if it's snowing. Not a chance in hell if it's snowing.
And of course, I have Tampa making it to the Super Bowl, because when does Tom Brady not make the Super Bowl?
Shock! Woo!
Yes. All right. AFC.
All right. And the Chiefs is 1, Browns 2, Bills 3, Titans 4, Ravens 5, Chargers 6, Steelers 7. So I have the Browns beating the Steelers, the Bills beating the Chargers, the Ravens beating the Titans. Then I have the Chiefs beating the Ravens, and the Bills beating the Browns. And just because I did not want chalk, the Bills are going to make the Super Bowl finally.
Okay. All right. So I have Kansas City as your 1 seed, Baltimore as your 2 seed, Buffalo as your 3 seed, Indy as your 4 seed, the Chargers 5, Miami 6, Cleveland 7. So I will take Cleveland upsetting Baltimore in the playoffs. I will have Buffalo beating Miami, and I will have the Chargers beating Indy.
Okay.
Then I got Buffalo beating Cleveland. And just because I want something different, I will take the Chargers to upset Kansas City. And I will take the Chargers to upset Buffalo, because you took Buffalo. If you didn't take Buffalo, I would have taken Buffalo.
That's never, ever, ever going to happen.
Who knows?
The Chargers don't go from a 500 team to a Super Bowl team.
Dude,
it doesn't work like that.
They had injuries the last 2 years. Injuries.
I don't care.
Injuries.
They are not a Super Bowl team.
My only concern is I believe they have a rookie head coach. But I'm going to take them to make it to the Super Bowl. Who do you have making it to the Super Bowl? Tampa and Buffalo.
What?
Who's winning?
The Bucks.
So we both have Tampa winning the Super Bowl. Does Tom Brady retire?
Yeah.
Yes. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, he does not retire.
No, he's going to end on another Super Bowl as long as it's within the next 3 years.
Okay. So we both have Tampa. I have him beating the Chargers in a lot of upsets.
Yeah, I don't think you got the lots of chalk. I was saying to you before the show, the NFL is just so chalk. It's boring.
It is.
It's no different than the college playoffs. It's boring. Same teams win every single year. At least in hockey, that's different.
That it is.
Anybody can win in hockey.
All right. Let's get to this.
Woo!
The Phatts Phantastic Five.
Yeah, he cheated last week.
Also known as the PA Phatts Redemption Tour. By the way, while you guys are watching, let me know who you guys think are going to make it to the Super Bowl and who's going to win the Super Bowl. Do you agree with our picks? I don't think anyone's going to agree with me having the Chargers making it to the Super Bowl.
At least he didn't say the Jets.
Jets.
Suck.
They do. Well, this year. Anyway, so let's take a look at last week's picks. Shall we?
Let's not.
Shall we? Let's start with the non-genetically proven son. He liked Northwestern given 3 over Michigan State.
That was a smart pick. Michigan State is probably the worst team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, what was the final score of that game?
Oh.
Because you also like the under 46.
Michigan State might have covered that 46 one.
I don't think so.
The final score of that game was 38-21.
So on your under. Then you took the homer pick. Penn State given 5.5. Did you call for the outright upset?
I think so.
I think you did. So ding ding for you. Ding
They
ding.
won by 6, and I didn't have a voice.
Ding ding. Florida minus 23 over the Little Sisters of the Poor. The Little Sisters of the Poor scored late to cover.
Yeah. They won by 21.5.
They didn't win by 21. How do you win by 21.5?
They won by 21. I thought the line was 20.5.
They won by 21.5. Yes, because you could get half points in college.
Yeah, you can.
And your final game, which surprised the living hell out of me, knowing that they had about 54 points at the end of the first quarter, was the over in the Maryland-West Virginia game at 56.5.
Yeah, it was 17-14 after the first quarter, and in the third quarter, they scored none! There was 54 points with, 6 minutes to go in the game.
I think there was more than that to go.
I don't know how that didn't hit.
So, what was your record?
1-4.
1-4. Now let's take a look at PA Phatts' picks for last week. We had the under in the first half of the Alabama-Miami game. Cha-ching!
I bet that one, too.
We'll get to that. Don't worry. We will get to that. Cha-ching! We had Central Michigan getting 14 points. Cha-ching! Cha-ching! They lost, but they covered.
Did Central Michigan cover that?
They did.
I thought Michigan railed them.
They didn't play Michigan.
Oh, they played Western Michigan.
Yes. Yes. Central Michigan played Missouri.
Oh.
And it was, I think, a 10-point. It was either a 7-point game or a 10-point game. It was one or the other. I said Georgia would win this game outright over Clemson.
Their offense didn't score a touchdown.
And their defense didn't give up a touchdown.
Their defense scored a touchdown.
Their defense scored a touchdown. That's all that mattered. Cha-ching!
That game proved how good Georgia is going to be.
Yes. I had Hawaii given 21.5 over the West Coast Little Sisters of the Poor. At the end of the first quarter, Hawaii was up 28-0. They won by 14. So, and I had under 27.5 for the first half of the BYU-Arizona game. I said BYU lost a ton of their starters from last year. Arizona was breaking in a new coach. All the trends lined up for the under, and the under cashed by more than 10, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, I want to play a little video from our last show. I want to play a little video about what was said about my picks right after I made them. So hopefully I could pull it up that it'll work. So Lord only knows if it'll work, because I may not. I may have lost the feed to it. I did. All right. So basically, You got a little lucky. Basically, you said you didn't like my picks because they were based in logic and trends or something like that. Wait, I could at least play what you said.
I think you picked teams based on logic and not research.
Based on logic and not research. Sure.
Because, sure, Hawaii looked terrible, and they're playing a team that has played one game in 2 years. But that's a tough one to know. They're going to win by 4 touchdowns. I don't know. Like, I think you picked some things that are out there, like based off of trends.
Oh, I don't hear this.
And less logic, just kind of trends, yearly trends, and a little bit of like guessing in there as well.
I made my picks based on trends and logic, no research, and a little bit of guessing. You said. I go 4-1. You go 1-4. Also, let me just state for the record that I bet a lot of games on Saturday for me.
You did.
I bet 12 games. I went 9-3 on Saturday. I had a very good Saturday. The non-genetically proven son bet 3 games.
I did.
He went 3-0 on Saturday. Did he play any of his games? No. He played my games.
No.
You played the under in the first half of the Alabama game.
Yeah,
that's
the only player
you played under Alabama for the entire game, and you played Fresno getting 20 over Oregon, which were 3 of the plays that I liked. I didn't put 2 of the 3 in the Phatts Phantastic Phive because, like, as usual, when I really get into doing my research on Friday nights and Saturday mornings, I end up liking other things besides the Phatts Phantastic Phive. So, my picks are based on trends and a little bit of guessing, but you tailed my plays and went 3-0. That's all I want to say.
Wait, hold up. Hold the phone.
What?
Hold the phone.
What?
I liked your logic behind the Alabama game. New quarterback, super easy win. I liked the Fresno one because you were talking about everybody was coming back, and Oregon was starting a new quarterback.
And Fresno had already played a game, and Oregon has Ohio State this weekend.
So that one made sense to me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I need money. That's all that matters.
Playing your picks or my picks?
I should have played the Penn State game. I didn't want to touch it because I don't want to put money on my team.
I played the Penn State game.
I hope you took Penn State.
Well, yeah, I took the 6.
Now, let's be honest. Penn State should have lost that game like 35-16.
No, they shouldn't have. They should have lost the game because, once again, James Franklin tried to run prevent defense at the end of the game and just gave Wisconsin 70 yards to march down the field.
If Wisconsin just ran the ball, they easily win that game. And if their quarterback could hand it off to the running back. And the running back couldn't trip over himself. And if their jump around was actually cool. It's not. I mean, Sweet Caroline isn't... I don't think Sweet Caroline's the best either. So I'm riding on our own, like, chant thing. I kind of like Enter Sandman from Virginia Tech.
Got
That's a good rally one.
All right, so let's look at this week's Phatts Phantastic Phive picks. We got the start of pros this week too. So, just so you know, I could tell you right now, the non-genetically proven son made 3 college picks and 2 pro picks. I made 4 college picks and 1 pro pick because I debated what I wanted my 5th pick to be, and I really couldn't find something that I like, and you're going to shriek when you see what I picked, but I'll explain it. You
picked Ball State.
No, I'm talking about the pro game.
Oh.
That was my 5th game that I picked. I originally had a college game in there, but I'm like, and what I really wanted to take, there was no line out yet. And I actually thought about taking something else in that game. We'll talk about it. So let's look at the non-genetically proven Sons picks. He likes Rutgers on the road in Syracuse, given 2.5. 2.5 point favorite. When was the last time Rutgers was a road favorite?
Ooh. Maybe against Penn State last year.
Rutgers.
They were a home favorite last year.
You took Iowa State over 46.5.
Yeah.
You took Go ahead. You want to mention anything about that game?
Iowa just rolled Indiana. Literally rolled them.
They did.
And Iowa State is a Big 12 school.
Yeah.
Big 12 don't play defense.
Yeah. They won what? 16-10 last week? Or 17-10, just like the Penn State game?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Against Northern Iowa?
Look ahead game.
Yeah,
Look ahead
could very well be. Could very well be. Speaking of, I believe you took Washington to win the Pac-12. They looked really good against Montana, losing at home.
Great.
Losing at home, 14-7. Now they get to go into the big house this week.
It feels bad for Washington.
I'm hoping that was a major look-ahead game, and they kicked the living shit out of Michigan personally.
That'd be great.
Because Michigan
still sucks.
All right, you have a very pissed off Wisconsin team.
Yeah.
Given 25.5 over whoever they're playing.
Wisconsin is playing Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan's not that great of a team.
Wisconsin's going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. And they're going to pass the ball because their quarterback's actually going to hit their receivers.
You know what just in the back of my mind, what might be, well, maybe not. I'm thinking, I wonder what the first half line is on that game.
I looked at the first half of the Penn State game, and it was 12.5 correctly. That, I wish it was 14.5, because I would have took Ball State then. Because I could see Penn State coming out a little slow, but the problem is there's going to be 100 and probably over 100,000 people in that stadium.
Yes.
So maybe they'll play perfectly fine.
I could hear it now. Oh, 100,000 people and not one's wearing a mask. Super spreader event.
No, there'll be someone wearing a mask.
Super spreader event. I could see.
Probably.
I'm not going to the games until I'm keeping my family away from the games. I love going to Penn State games, but until everybody's got their shot, I'm staying away. I could see that coming right now. All right. Then you go to the pros. You have the over 54 in Cleveland, Kansas City.
Offensive game.
It could very well be. And then you got Buffalo, the team that circles the wagons, given 6.5 against Pittsburgh.
I don't think Pittsburgh's all that good.
No, but I do believe you just told me they're going to have a winning record.
They are. 10-8.
Yeah.
10-8. 10-7.
10-8.
Try again.
10-8. Take 2.
10-7.
Okay.
But I like the Bills at home. Start the season.
Okay.
I think the Steelers, last year they started really good. They're not going to start so good this year.
Okay. Got ya. Okay. Well, those are your picks. I actually have the same pick as one of these.
You picked the Iowa State game.
I actually did pick that game, but not the over-under.
You picked Iowa.
So, let's look at what I played. So, the pick that we match on is the very first game. I picked Rutgers! Minus 2.5 over Syracuse. And I was shocked that you didn't. I thought for sure you were going to play Buffalo over Nebraska. You asked me about it. You asked me. You said what?
I literally said, "What do you think
Yes.
of Nebraska?"
Yes, and I said I'm leaving these up to you. I don't want to influence you because I picked Buffalo.
Because I was thinking about the same thing, picking Buffalo.
I figured for sure you were going to pick Buffalo.
Because I was trying to consider if they were going to win the game outright. To be honest,
I figured for sure you would pick Buffalo.
I decided to avoid it just because it's Nebraska, so I mean they're a better team, obviously, for sure. But I think it's hard to tell with facing a MAC school like that.
I think Buffalo keeps this game very close, if not wins, personally. I also like the 54.5 on the over. I think it's a high-scoring game. I could see both teams being in the 30s in this game. I like Iowa. You guessed that right. I like Iowa. 4.5, getting points.
They're going to win outright.
Yes, they are. They are. Look at their last few games of they lost their first 2 games last season, then they ran the table.
Right.
Average, they were beating opponents by like 22 points or something like that.
Okay.
And then it continued. Yes, they had 2 early, they had a kickoff return or 2 interception returns for a touchdown. Against Indiana, that poor player that didn't have the jersey spelled right on his shirt. That would have been funny if that was the entire team. That really would have been funny. But look at my pro pick. Houston getting 3.5. I took them because of the hook against Jacksonville.
Getting that number 1 overall pick.
I did. Did I not say they're going to be 2-1 after 3 weeks?
You did.
That was a little key there. Now, the reason why I took them. Trend alert, trend alert, trend alert, trend alert, which you don't like. Trend alert. In week 1, home division dogs. So you're a home team playing a division team and you are an underdog. You're 18-4 in the last 22 games.
They're a dog to Jacksonville?
Yep. That just shows you how bad Houston is. That Jacksonville is, with a rookie quarterback, is going on the road giving more than a field goal.
You have a Clemson quarterback. Has a Clemson quarterback been good in the NFL? Who was before Trevor Lawrence?
I don't know.
Was it?
I have no idea.
And then you have Urban Meyer.
Now, maybe if Tim Tebow was still on the team.
They cut him.
I know. I said maybe if he was still on the team.
How do you cut Tim Tebow?
I know. How do you cut Tim Tebow?
He's been in more playoffs.
Yes.
Than Dwayne Haskins.
Now, the original game that I had there that I switched, I had the over in the Oregon State-Hawaii game at 63.5.
Okay.
Going right back to Hawaii, but this time the over. I also thought about taking, are you ready for this?
I'll tell you a game then after you.
Wait, what would be like the most illogical team for me to take? That there's a line out there right now, and I thought about then taking the other team in the first half. That's your big clue right there.
What team in pros or
college?
What's the most illogical team to take in the first half?
No, I thought about playing this team for the whole game, and then I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I might like the other team in the first half better. And then there was no halftime line yet.
Oregon, Ohio State?
Nope.
Are they ranked?
The one team is.
I don't know.
I thought about taking Mercer plus 56.5 over Alabama. Because these are and then I thought about taking Alabama in the first half. They're probably going to be given 29. These are the kind of games that Alabama will score 35 points in the first half and 10 points in the second half because they'll just run the ball every play in the second half.
Alabama shouldn't be playing Mercer anyways.
And the icing on the cake, the team that Mercer played last week, which is like Point College or something like that, they won by 69. They won 69 to nothing, and now they're getting 56 and a half. Slight step up in class of your opponent. Slight.
The game I thought about taking UAB.
UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Getting 24.5 against Georgia.
I understand.
Coming off a big win. I'm not saying obviously they're not gonna lose the game.
Yeah.
But it could be a little closer through the first half. I probably should have looked at the first half line. Maybe Georgia's only up 9.5.
I guess it'll be 9-0.
Could be. Hey, UAB can get a touchdown.
Sure, they could. Sure.
Need more touchdowns than Clemson.
Yes. Yes.
Another game there is no line for, at least on ESPN, is taking Clemson versus SC State.
Yes.
They're not be happy.
Yeah, that line will be, high 50s.
Or Oklahoma versus West Carolina. Oklahoma looked good last week.
Yes. All right, so let's recap the plays. The non-genetically proven son likes Rutgers minus 2.5. The over 46.5 in the Iowa State game. Wisconsin given 25.5. The over in the Cleveland-Kansas City game at 54. And your Buffalo Bills, the team that he says is going to the Super Bowl to be the sacrificial lamb to Tom Brady, given 6.5 over Pittsburgh. I have Rutgers given 2.5. The University of Buffalo getting 13.5, and I have the over 54.5 against Nebraska. I have Iowa going into Iowa State getting 4.5. I called for the outright upset, and I have your number one draft choice calling that Houston Texans getting over a field goal against Jacksonville on week 1.
Calling for an outright victory again.
I did. I did. I did say they were going to be 2-1 after 3 weeks. I did.
I'm going to lose out.
I'm not going to say it that they are definitely going to win. Like I'm not going to put my reputation on the line.
So you have them beating the Jaguars, losing to the Browns, beating the Panthers,
and then losing out.
Ooh, we're going to lose to the Jets?
Yep. Because the second half of the season, the Jets will find their footing better, and the Texans aren't going to care by that point. They're not. They're after a while, they're going to give up. If they're winless, it's a different story, because they're going to try to get the win, but they have 2 wins. They're going to give up.
I'll go play for them, and I'll get paid $500,000 to sit there. If they don't want to try.
Because by then, Tyrod Taylor will not be the starting quarterback because he will be hurt because he gets hurt every year, too, that he plays. Hell, he got hurt in warm-ups last year. So
He didn't stretch good.
No, like something, he got hit or something like that, and he did something, or he had like his heartbeat started to race, and I don't know, it was some weird thing happened.
Gotcha.
So those are our Phatts Phantastic Phive for week 2, also known as the Phatts Redemption Tour.
Week 1, it's fine. You need the handicap.
Yes. So are you going to tell me that my picks are based on logic and luck this week too? And
No.
trends?
No.
I mean, obviously pick 5 was a trend pick. That's all trends.
I will consider playing that Buffalo game because I did look at it. I did like it, but I left it out because I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
I would, if I'm you, just a piece of advice, I would buy the half point up to 14 and let it roll. Now, speaking of betting, I want to talk about, before we wrap up, some potential plays that I'm going to make in the NFL this week. I am not a huge fan. Just looking at the lines the way they are right now, I don't like hardly anything in the NFL. But what I like doing in the NFL is playing 6-point teasers. For those of you that don't know what a teaser is, you pick two teams and you get to move the line 6 points in the direction that of the team you're playing. So let's look at Buffalo as a perfect example. They're 6.5-point favorites over Pittsburgh. I take Buffalo, I get to move the line 6 points, so now Buffalo's only giving Pittsburgh a half a point.
We're just going to win, and they're probably going to win.
But you got to win both ends of the teaser to win the bet. So here's some of the teams that I think you could tease this week. The key is to tease through two key numbers, 7 and 3. All right? In either way, going down or going up. So, number one, tomorrow's game. Tampa right now is either an 8 or an 8.5 point favorite, depending upon your book. Tease that down to 2.5. There's one. The Washington football team is playing the Chargers. They are getting a point. Play a 6.5 point teaser, tease that up to 7.5. Statistics showed, I did it for like 10 years. I found the closing lines, and if you teased where you're playing points upward over 3 and 7, so you're playing teams that are an underdog by a point to 2.5, your chances of winning are actually better doing it that way than taking teams that are like 8.5 point favorites and teasing them down under 3. You actually cashed more bets when you teased points up, not points down. So Washington taking it from 1 to 7.5 in a 6.5 point teaser. Buffalo, like we talked about, taking it from 6.5 to a half. Indy Colts, 2.5 point home underdog, teasing that up to 8.5. I love teasing up when the underdog team is the home team. Love it. Love it. In the NFL, don't do teasers in college. Never, ever, 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 ever do college teasers. San Francisco 49ers, teasing it from 8 down to 2. San Francisco will probably be my suicide pick for the week, for those of you that are in suicide pools. Kansas City Chiefs from 6 to a pick at home against Cleveland. The Rams from 7.5 to 1.5 against the Bears. And I believe that is it. Yes, that is it. So, a lot of good teaser possibilities out there. I, knowing me, will play all of those games and round robin tease them. So, all different ways I could play 2-team teasers, I'll probably play them all. And hopefully, maybe only have one of those teams will lose and I'll win the rest and I'll be up a good deal of money. I mean, not that I don't put 500 on a game. Wish I could, but I don't. Put 1,000 on a game. No. All right. Any closing thoughts before we leave? Anybody on the message board? I'm sure nobody put in a guess on who they think is going to win the Super Bowl. No. You guys never make comments. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I might be, depending on the halftime score in Beaver Stadium, I might be sitting there at halftime putting in a bet on Penn State. If they're losing and or only up 3 to 7, I might take them in the second half.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game because for me, the jury is still out on them because offensively, when they changed up their game plan, they played so much better in the second half than they did in the first half.
I think they're going to pass the ball a lot.
As you think they would with the offensive coordinator, because their line, as we talked last week, I said the thing that's going to hurt them is their offensive line, and their offensive line played like crap in that game. Now, I'm sure Ball State doesn't have nearly the defensive line that Wisconsin had. Wisconsin probably has the best defensive line in the Big Ten.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. So that's where I don't want to bet the game because you have too many trends. Again, there's that word trends going against the opposite. It's a look ahead game for Penn State. They got Auburn on deck. Whiteout.
I was going to say they're probably going to play basic
yes.
as well.
Right. Yes, they don't want to show Auburn
with a 27-7 win.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
Them.
They don't want to show Auburn much. But if they play to their potential, they could win by 40.
Yeah.
If they play to their potential, especially their defense looked rock solid last week.
They did.
Rock solid.
They were getting in on Wisconsin's offensive line, and Wisconsin's offensive line is probably comparable to Ohio State.
Yes. And Ball State, they won 31-21 over some no-name, but they were 25-point favorites, and they only won by 10. Again, not that that means anything. They could have been looking ahead to the Penn State game. I mean, they do return, I believe, 20 of 22 starters from last year, but most teams have a lot of starters back because the NCAA granted another year of eligibility. So a lot of teams got a lot of starters coming back. Bucks versus Bills. Bucks win. So Josh agrees with you.
Chalk.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Kansas City versus the Bills, of all probability in the AFC. The Bucks versus pick anybody. Doesn't matter. Pick the Packers, pick the Ravens, pick the Browns. Browns are, that's the AFC. I'm retarded. Pick the Packers, pick, who else? Pick Dallas, why not?
The Chargers are going to win 3 road games and make it to the Super Bowl. It has happened before. It's happened more than once, actually.
They're not winning 3 away games against Kansas City, the Bills,
and Indy. I have them.
Okay, they could beat Indy. There you go. They could beat Indy.
Pittsburgh did it once. Seattle did it. Baltimore did it. So there's 3 teams right there that were on the road for the entire playoffs and made it to the Super Bowl.
Much better teams. I'm telling you right now, much better team.
We'll see. We'll see.
Seasoned quarterbacks.
Hey, I didn't want to take all chalk.
Seasoned quarterbacks were those teams. Chargers don't have that. They will have a very good quarterback in about 4 years.
Less than 4 years.
Okay, he'll be really good in 4 years.
Yes. Hey, I didn't want to play all chalk. Like I said, if you didn't take Buffalo, I would have taken Buffalo. So I didn't want to take this. You and I always have the same picks. So I wanted something
Especially
different.
Especially the NFL.
Yes. I wanted something different. I didn't want to take Kansas City. I didn't want to have the 2 number 1 seeds making it to the Super Bowl. So who was I left with? Cleveland, Baltimore, or the Chargers? So I went with the most unobvious.
Sorry, the one out there.
Yes. And
Cleveland's
I think
going to win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years. You hear her first.
I hope it's the Powder Puff Super Bowl.
They're winning the Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Because once they can beat Kansas City, they have nobody to beat in the NFC. Because Brady will be retired.
And he plays in the NFC.
So
yeah,
there you go.
Okay.
Cleveland's winning the Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
We'll see. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a great rest of the week. We'll figure out what day we're doing it next week. It all depends upon the non-genetically proven son college schedule. If I got to bail him out of jail for going to a rally, or who the hell knows? Who the hell knows?
We'll find out.
Yeah. All right. Have a great week. We will see you when we recap my 9-1 Phatts Phantastic Phive record after week 2 next week. Let's hope. All right. Until then, say goodbye, Gracie. I said say goodbye, Gracie. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. See ya.